EV market is imploding, with companies going bankrupt, losing billions of dollars in just days. The EV dream is finally dead as the public is finally seeing through the hype. EVs are losing 50% value in just a year, causing the used car market to crash badly. Even Tesla, the biggest EV conglomerate, is having to cut prices as people are returning their EVs for gas cars. EVs have turned out to be a big disaster, with multiple companies like Ford and General Motors shutting down production and running back to gas cars. But is it too late? And get this, EV makers are even paying off leasing companies to keep their mouths shut about their EV failures. Why are leasing companies suddenly clearing their EV supplies? Have we all been lied to about EVs? This is a disaster of epic proportion, folks, one that affects you, me, and all car owners out there. Let me break things down for you. Imagine you're all jazzed up about getting an electric car, thinking you're doing your bit for the planet and all that. But then, fast forward a bit and you find your prized EV is worth way less than you thought. Ouch, that stings, right? Now think about leasing companies that have purchased not one, not two, but thousands of these EVs. The thing is, due to a huge lack of demand for EVs, dealers are having to sell EVs at huge discounts. But what about the used EV market? Well, EVs have been around for quite a while now, and in this time period, a whopping 60% of EV owners have said that they'll never want to buy an EV again. The hype train seems to be slowing down, and this isn't just a small hiccup, it's causing a real domino effect. The leasing companies, you know, the ones that let you drive a shiny new car without buying it outright, are caught in all the crossfire. They're seeing the value of used EVs taking a nosedive because of all these price cuts. So what's happening is, they're getting checks from the car makers to make up for the lost value. It's like, sorry your secondhand EV isn't worth as much anymore, here's some cash to ease the pain. And it's not just a couple of bucks here and there. We're talking about a potential shakeup in the $1.2 trillion secondhand car market. That's trillion with a big ol' capital T. The leasing companies are freaking out because their whole business model is based on predicting how much a car will be worth in the future. But with EV prices going all roller coaster on us, their crystal balls are looking a bit cloudy. To add to the drama, some car makers are even promising to buy back the vehicles from leasing companies just to keep them sweet. It's like, hey, don't worry about the plummeting value, we've got your back. But let's be real, this is more of a band-aid solution than a cure. Let's take the cheapest out there for starters, the 2021 Chevy Bolt EV. When this thing came out, you could get one for $32,000 during the mad rush of the COVID days. Back then, everyone thought EVs were the future. But now, if you take the same car to any CarMax dealership, they'll not give you a value above $15,000, no matter how good your car's condition is. Now you might think this is just a Chevy problem, but nope, it's spreading like wildfire. Leasing giants like Ayvens, with a fleet of over 500,000 EVs, are returning all their EVs and losing money by the day. Big corporate buyers, for example the companies who buy these EVs in bulk, like Hertz and Sixt, are even giving statements that Tesla caused this whole used EV market crash. I'll explain how in a minute, but first, let's look at Tesla's EV prices. A quick peek at CarMax shows a 2022 Model 3 going for around $32,000, a fair bit below its original price. And while the Model Y might be faring a bit better, it's more of an exception than the rule. The resale values of top-selling EVs, including names like Tesla, GM, and Ford, have plummeted by a whopping 28% in the US in 2023 alone. And if you think that's bad, jump over the pond to the UK and used EVs took a 20% hit, way more than the overall market dip of just 3.7%. Talk about a reality check. So what's the big deal with these resale values, you ask? Well, they're like the heartbeat of a car's desirability. The brains at HSBC are sounding the alarm bells, predicting that 2024 might be even tougher for EV pricing. With subsidies drying up in places like Germany and France, car makers might have to slash prices just to stay in the game, eating into the already slim profit margins on EVs. Here's where it gets even trickier. The lower resale value means leasing an EV is going to be a pricier affair than opting for good old petrol or diesel rides. The bigger the drop in value, the more cash you'll need to cover the depreciation over a lease term. And considering about 60% of new cars in Europe are leased, with numbers even higher in the UK, that's a lot of unhappy campers. Now let's talk about the big names feeling the pinch. The Tesla Model X took the hardest hit in the US, with its used pricing tanking 36% in just a year. Imagine shelling out $75,000 for a Model X in December 2022, only to see its value crumble to $48,000 a year later. Ouch! And it's not just Tesla. Ford's F-150 Lightning and the Chevy Bolt are also on the slippery slope, with their values dropping 30% and 32% respectively. And the UK market isn't faring much better. The Nissan Leaf and Renault Zoe, it's game over.